Hi everybody, Kathy Syrett from the Confident Leader Journey vlog here. Now, in a recent vlog, I talked about how important the confidence zone is as a place where we can be effective, maximize our performance. And I also said that I'd be sharing some information on how we can get into that confidence zone. And that's what this vlog is about today. And to do that, we're going to look at the confidence wheel. Okay. It's a very simple way of making sure you have what you need to be able to manage your confidence. So let's think about this. Do you remember I said that we have the circles, like an archery target going, and the center is 0 unconfidence, 0 to 3 is the comfort zone, 3 to 5 is the confidence zone, where we're still confident we're doing it, but we're thinking about it a little bit, but there's no threat response in our brain or our system, so we're very calm and relaxed and can learn new things, be open to change, etc. And because that means our conscious and unconscious mind are working together, it means we're operating in an optimal state. 5 to 8 is our stretch zone, and that could be good because we're stretching, we're getting new stuff, new information, and trying something new. But if we stay there too long, we burn out. And 8 to 10 is our panic zone. So today we're going to look at how, if we're thinking about something, we realize that it actually puts us at a 7 on our unconfidence measure. But to be totally effective, we know we need to be down at 5 or below. We're looking at how can we change that score from a 7 to a 4.5 so that we know we're operating in our confidence zone. And that's where the confidence wheel comes in. Now, the confidence wheel is, of course, in the book. So I do recommend that you get yourself a copy of that. It's available as an ebook as well. But I'll talk you through it. And in the written blogs that we produce from these vlogs, there will be an image of it there for you as well. I've got it up on my screen here, and you can just see that it's basically, it is a wheel, and at the center of it, there are the 3 elements of confidence and safety, which are mental, emotional, and physical safety. When we feel physically, mentally, and emotionally safe, we are confident. Okay? When we don't feel safe in one of those areas or more, then we feel unconfident. Okay? Now, so that's at the hub of the wheel. And then the wheel comes out into 3 sections. And those 3 sections are knowledge, skills, and environment. And the way we move ourselves into our confidence zone is by looking at knowledge, skills, and environment. So let's take a look at those, and I'll tell you what I mean by these. And this is what I use when I'm coaching my clients as well. So knowledge is the first thing. The first barrier to being in your confidence zone is when you don't have the knowledge that you believe you need to achieve a task or an activity or a role, and you don't know where to get it, etc. So the first question we need to ask ourselves when we're looking at, let's say I'm at a 7 about a particular presentation I'm going to do. I need to think, do I know what I'm doing here? So the first question under knowledge is, what am I doing? Do I know what I'm doing? And it might be, yes, I know I'm doing a presentation, but I really don't know what the purpose of it is. I really don't know what type of presentation people want. I really don't know what they're expecting. So I don't know what's expected of me here. And an example I've given in another blog is of someone who came to me with this exact issue. They were being asked to do a presentation to a rather large audience. And the very first thing we identified when they put themselves actually at a 9 for this was that they were worried that they didn't have enough knowledge of the technical subject on which they were presenting to basically be able to stand up there and present. It was like, who am I to be standing up presenting on this when I don't know this as well as anything else? So we looked at, does she know what she's doing? Does she know why she's doing it? Does she know how to do it? Does she have enough knowledge to do this well? And because of that, she said, no, I don't. I don't have the technical knowledge. So we said, right, so step 1, in order to move yourself from a 9 towards a 5, So from your panic zone towards your confidence zone, you need to change your knowledge base. How are you going to do that? And we brainstormed options and things she could do to build her knowledge base so that she wouldn't feel such an imposter up there. And it's a very common thing to feel like that. So we came up with a list of things and a plan, and she said, you know what, I'm already feeling better. I would put myself at about a 7 now for this presentation because I now have a plan. And her plan included things like talking to technical experts, having a technical expert in the wings, so if anything got too difficult, she could do that. Having the technical expert review the presentation before she did it to make sure everything was right. So we came up with several things that moved her from a 9 to a 7. So she went from her panic zone to her stretch zone. Great. That's already good. Now, knowing that in the confidence zone is where you're going to perform at your optimum, I said, so what is now keeping you out at the stretch zone? And we looked at skills. That's the second thing. So I might know what I'm doing, but can I actually do it? So, for example, I'm very confident doing a presentation on any topic because I've been doing presentations for 30 years. However, if you're looking at someone who hasn't done that many presentations, and it was the case with this person, she actually was concerned about her skill level in delivering a presentation. So we looked at the 3 questions. Can I do it? Well, yes, she could. The second question was, how well can I do it? And she said, I'm not sure I can do it that well. So the third question was, how can I practice? And there was a particular aspect of the presentation that she was concerned about skills-wise. She could see how she could, do the presentation and practice doing the actual content. However, what was keeping her out at a 7 was she wasn't sure that she'd be able to handle the questions she got from the audience. So we thought, right, how could we practice answering those questions? How could we get better at that? And so again, we came up with a few ideas of working with some technical people, asking them what questions they'd experienced, talking to some of the audience members beforehand to say, what questions do you have that you would like me to address in the presentation? And all of that moved her to a 6. So working on knowledge brought her from a 9 to a 7, working on the skills brought her from a 7 to a 6, but there was still something niggling away. So we looked at the third section of the confidence wheel, and that is environment. And the question there is, how is the environment supporting you in what you're trying to achieve? And under that, we look at places, processes, and people. And fundamentally, she felt a bit intimidated by the people who are in the audience. She felt that they would ask her questions, that she wouldn't have time to think. And when we unpicked that a little bit, she said, I think if I just had time to think, but being put on the spot in front of the audience is quite challenging. So we looked at having a couple of people in the audience that she'd done the presentation to beforehand, so they were on her side, right? And giving them a couple of soft questions to ask, so that the first questions asked in the presentation would be ones she knew she could answer, to ease her into that. That definitely made her feel more confident. And then we looked at processes. And the one thing we came up with was that she felt what would really make a difference for her, because I asked the question, what would have to happen during the Q&A session for you to feel at a 4 instead of a 6 or a 7? And she said, I'd need time to think about the question. So we came up with a plan that she would have a colleague with a microphone. It's quite a large auditorium. And when someone had a question, the colleague would go and get the person to ask the question. And then they would reframe it or comment on it, giving Karen the 10 to 15 seconds she needed to think about it and come up with an answer. And it was interesting because as soon as we said that, you could literally see her go, oh, well, that'll be all right then. So we had a process that would help. So you can see how using the confidence wheel and looking at knowledge, skills, and environment, and asking that question, what would have to happen in this knowledge section for you to be closer to the confidence zone? What would have to happen skills-wise for you to move closer to the confidence zone? What would have to happen to people, processes, and places to bring you into your confidence zone. And I always do it in that order: knowledge, skills, environment. Okay. And by doing that, she felt, well, I'm at a 4 now about doing this. Went off and did it and did an outstanding job. So this is how we can bring ourselves into the confidence zone in a structured way. And just imagine using that process for yourself, but how about using it for your teams as well? For the people you're leading, for the people you're managing. Knowing that the confidence zone is where you can perform most effectively and where other people will perform most effectively. Using that knowledge and insight and using that confidence wheel to enable people to spend their time there and perform at their best as well. Okay, so this is Kathy Syrick. Join me on Facebook at the Confident Leader Journey community, where you will get links to the blogs that we make out of these vlogs. And I'll see you again soon with some more insights into how to be a confident leader.